Not everyone who enters your life is meant to stay, and not everyone who stays is meant to bring peace. Marriage, for many, is seen as the ultimate bond of love. But beneath the surface of romance and rituals lies a deeper, often unseen force karma. In this quiet realm of cause and effect, some souls meet not for comfort, but for clarity. Some unions are not rewards, but revelations. Have you ever felt drawn to someone for no logical reason? Have you ever loved deeply, only to find yourself breaking in silence? Have you ever asked, why this person? Why this path? In Buddhism, the answers do not always lie in this lifetime. They are threads woven through many lives of unfinished lessons, unpaid debts, silent promises, and echoes of ancient vows. This video is not just about love. It's about why we love the people we do. It's about the hidden truths of marriage, not as society sees it, but as karma reveals it. Through stories, reflection, and Buddhist insight, we'll explore 7 profound truths behind karmic relationships. These are not just ideas. They are mirrors for your own journey. So take a deep breath, let go of judgment, and open your heart to what may feel familiar. Not because it's new, but because your soul has known it before. Let us begin. We often believe we marry for love, but in the unseen fabric of karma, love is just one of many threads. Some marriages begin not with affection, but with a karmic debt. Some begin not with a spark of joy, but with the pull of a lesson yet to be learned. A man once came to a monk with a heavy heart. I married the woman I thought I loved. He said, now I feel like a prisoner. Why would karma tie me to her? The monk looked at him gently and replied, because karma does not bind you to comfort. It binds you to clarity. In Buddhist philosophy, karma is not punishment. It is continuity. The people we feel drawn to, often irrationally, are rarely new to us. That attraction may feel like love, but it is often recognition, a pull not from this life, but from echoes long before. You don't just marry a person. You marry a past one shaped by intentions, actions, and energies carried across lifetimes. Sometimes, what draws you in is not love, it is resonance. Sometimes, it is the soul remembering a promise. Sometimes, it is a wound seeking closure. One woman married a man who made her cry more than smile. Friends warned her. Her mind resisted, but her heart obeyed an invisible force. When the relationship turned cold and painful, she asked, why does love feel like a wound? An old temple keeper answered, because what you felt wasn't love. It was recognition. He owed you pain, and karma gave you a front row seat to its repayment. This is not cruelty. It is karmic restoration. Karma is not interested in happily ever after. It is interested in awakening. So if you've ever asked, why this person, the answer may not lie in the now, but in a moment, your soul remembers, even if your mind does not. Marriage is not always a gift. Sometimes it's a mirror. Sometimes it's a debt. Sometimes it's the soul's way of saying, this is where the lesson lives. And that is where the journey begins. Marriage is not simply the union of 2 people. It is the convergence of 2 unfinished stories. What we often call conflict or incompatibility in marriage is, in truth, a mirror reflecting everything within us that still hurts, hides, or hungers. You may think you are marrying someone because of who they are, but in truth, you are marrying someone because of what they awaken in you. A man once told a monk, "She says she loves me, but she always pushes me away." The monk replied, "She does love you, but her wound fears love. You didn't just marry her, you married the silence that lives inside her." In Buddhist psychology, unhealed pain turns into karma. And unless that pain is brought to the light of awareness, it becomes a force that controls how we love, how we trust, how we push others away. Marriage becomes the stage where all these old wounds come alive. You think your partner is hurting you, but often they are simply activating what was already there. A woman once said, "He constantly criticizes me. He makes me feel like I'm never enough." A monk asked, "Did you already believe you weren't enough before he spoke?" She paused and nodded. He said, "Then he is not the cause. He is the mirror." When two unconscious wounds marry, the home becomes a battlefield. But when even one person becomes aware, the mirror begins to shift. The reflection becomes clearer. Healing begins. This is why many marriages feel difficult, even when love exists. Because love alone does not heal what remains hidden. Only consciousness can. Marriage is not about finding someone who makes you feel good. It's about recognizing who reveals the places where you still feel unloved, not to blame them, but to grow through them. In truth, your partner is never a stranger. They are the mirror the universe sends to show you. You. And until we understand that, we will keep shattering the mirror instead of softening the reflection. Sometimes, the heart says yes while the mind screams no. You feel pulled to someone who confuses you, hurts you, or pushes you to the edge, and you can't explain why. You call it love, but often, it's karma remembering its course. In the karmic realm, attraction is not always romantic. It is a soul's recognition, a silent memory, a magnetic pull towards someone whose energy echoes with yours, not from this life, but from lives before. One woman, gentle and kind, found herself irresistibly drawn to a man who made her cry more than he made her laugh. Her friends warned her. Her logic resisted, but her heart obeyed something deeper, something invisible. Against all reason, she married him. Years passed. What followed was not love, but loneliness, silence, betrayal. She asked herself over and over, "Why did I marry someone who wounds me so deeply?" She went to a temple, searching for answers. An old caretaker listened quietly and said, "What you called attraction was not love. It was recognition. You saw in him a soul you had known before a soul that once hurt you. And the universe gave you front row seats to watch karma return and complete its cycle. This is the mystery of karmic resonance. We are drawn not to comfort, but to completion. To the ones who carry our unresolved stories. To the ones who reflect back the pain we buried. But this suffering is not your punishment. It is your portal. Because the moment you see the pattern, you begin to wake up. An awakening turns pain into power. As the Buddha taught, desire is the root of suffering. And when marriage is born from unconscious desire, from craving, attachment, or guilt, it doesn't heal us. It repeats us. The lesson? Not all who attract you are meant to stay, and not all who stay are meant to bring joy. Some appear simply to reveal the pattern that still governs your heart. Until you learn to recognize that pattern, it will return. Different face, same wound, but when you see it clearly, you are finally free to break the cycle. We often measure love by how long it lasts. But in the realm of karma, duration is not the goal. Completion is. Some marriages are destined to endure, others are destined to end, not because they failed, but because they fulfilled their purpose. A woman once stayed in a marriage long after her spirit had withered. She told herself it was loyalty. She believed staying was noble. But when she visited a Zen garden and quietly shared her story, the old teacher said gently, "That was not loyalty. That was attachment, wearing the mask of devotion." Then he placed a lotus in her hand. The lotus does not bloom in still water, but in mud. Your marriage was the mud. Your healing is the bloom. In Buddhist thought, clinging after karma has completed is not love, it is suffering. It is not virtue, it is delay. When the lesson is learned, staying becomes stagnation. To leave a marriage that no longer serves the soul's growth is not weakness. It is wisdom. It is not betrayal. It is release. It is not a breaking. It is a completion. Some karmic relationships are not here to walk with us forever. They come to awaken, to mirror, to repay. And once their sacred task is done, holding on becomes a chain rather than a connection. The Buddha taught us to let go, not in bitterness, but in awareness, not in anger, but in gratitude. So if your heart whispers, this chapter is closed, listen deeply. You are not walking away from love. You are walking into liberation. Because the highest form of love is knowing when to stay and when to go with peace. And when a karmic marriage ends not in rage, but in understanding, the soul says, the lesson is learned. The cycle is complete. I am free. We are taught to dream of forever, that love should be soft, effortless, and lasting. But in the spiritual journey, marriage is not a resting place. It is a mirror, a fire, a path, not to comfort, but to consciousness. True love does not avoid pain. It walks straight through it. And a true spiritual partner is not someone who soothes your wounds, but someone who reveals them, so they may finally heal. A monk once told his students a parable. A candle married the wind. The wind asked, "Will you still love me when I blow you out?" The candle replied, "Yes, because only in the darkness will I discover the strength of my own flame." This is the essence of karmic marriage. We don't marry to be completed. We marry to awaken. The right partner doesn't simply agree with you. They challenge you. They reflect your fears. They trigger your patterns. And through that friction, you grow. Many ask, how do I find someone who will stay forever? But the deeper question is, how do I become someone who grows no matter what? Because the goal of marriage is not permanence, it is liberation. From the Buddhist view, all things are impermanent, relationships too. But what matters is not whether a relationship lasts. What matters is what it reveals and how we respond to that revelation. Marriage is not the final chapter in your story. It is a sacred classroom. The tests are emotional. The lessons are personal. And the diploma is awakening. So if your marriage feels hard, don't rush to escape the fire. Ask what it's trying to burn away. Because the purpose of a spiritual partner is not to make you feel safe. It is to help you see clearly. In the end, the best marriages don't just last. They liberate. Not every deep connection is born from romance. Some marriages are not forged by passion, but by a silent promise made long ago. A soul once gave, protected, or saved, and now returns. not out of desire, but out of devotion. In the karmic field, gratitude carries weight. A single act of kindness in one lifetime can blossom into a bond in the next. And while the heart may not burn with desire, it recognizes a debt of grace. A teacher once said, "Watch those who stay in a marriage without joy, yet cannot leave. They may not be bound by love, but by an invisible thread of gratitude the soul cannot ignore." These relationships can be quiet, sometimes confusing. You may wonder why two people so different and distant remain together. But beneath the surface lies a sacred repayment not of suffering, but of support. From the outside, these marriages may look lifeless. But inside, there is a sense of completion, of honoring something ancient and unseen. It is not always easy. The heart may long for a different kind of connection, but the soul, remembering what the mind cannot, chooses to repay before it seeks joy. Gratitude is powerful in karma. It is not emotional attachment, it is energetic integrity. It is the soul's way of saying, "You once gave me something I could never repay. So now, I will walk beside you, not to gain, but to give." These unions are not failures. They are sacred agreements. And when the debt is fully honored, the soul feels free again, not from duty, but from devotion fulfilled. The purpose is not passion. The purpose is balance. And when that balance is restored, the path may gently shift either into a deeper bond or into a graceful parting. In either case, the karmic promise is complete, and the soul is ready to move forward in peace. Most people enter marriage seeking something: love, companionship, safety, validation. But when two awakened souls meet, marriage is no longer about what they can get. It becomes about what they can give together. This is not an ordinary bond. It is not built on emotional need, but on spiritual alignment. It is not a transaction, but a mission. A spiritual teacher once said, "When two souls come together, not to fill each other, but to serve the world together, karma bows in reverence." In such a union, love is quiet but powerful, like a flame that does not flicker, even in the wind. There is little drama, few demands. Instead, there is purpose, stillness, clarity. This is a Dharma marriage, one that honors not just each other, but the path itself. These marriages may not have the highs of passion or the noise of conflict, but they hold something deeper: shared vision, shared values, shared work. They become vessels for healing, creation, and truth. The purpose of this kind of marriage is not personal fulfillment. It is collective elevation. The two walk side by side, not just toward joy, but toward awakening. And in doing so, they uplift not only each other, but everyone they touch. Their love becomes a bridge not just between two hearts, but between the divine and the world. This is rare because it requires both souls to have burned through much of their karma, to be empty of ego and full of presence. But when it happens, it changes everything. The relationship no longer serves the self. It serves the soul's work. Such marriages don't just complete cycles, they help end suffering, inspire others, and light the way forward. In the highest form, marriage is not a shelter from the world. It is a sanctuary that empowers two souls to serve it. Marriage, in its deepest form, is not a destination. It is not the prize at the end of love's journey. It is the path, the mirror, the lesson, the fire, and sometimes the freedom. Through karma's mysterious weaving, we don't always marry for love. Sometimes we marry to repay, to complete, to remember, or to awaken. Sometimes we marry a wound, sometimes a teacher. And once in a while, we meet a soul, not to hold, but to grow beside. In the end, what makes a marriage sacred is not how long it lasts, but what it reveals. Not what it gives us, but who we become through it. Whether your marriage brings joy or pain, union or separation, know this: it is never meaningless. It is always part of your awakening. And when love becomes conscious, when marriage becomes a vehicle, not a possession, you no longer seek someone to complete you. You become someone who walks in wholeness. If this message spoke to your heart, I invite you to take a quiet breath and subscribe to this channel for more soulful teachings like this one. Share this video with someone who might be walking through their own karmic love story. And remember, you are not alone on this path. May your relationships not just comfort you, but call you home to yourself